Hey everyone, I'm Rather Incoherent, and all of this is the Essex County Express, the fourth scenario to the Dunwich Legacy. Before we get into that though, let's talk about what I did with my deck upgrades between scenarios. After last scenario, I feel like finding clues is not something this team struggles with. We beat the Doom Clock by a comical margin last time. So instead, I'm focusing entirely on not dying. Marie keeps looking sketchy. So I've upgraded the non-existence level 5 and 2 copies of Fearless to make sure that she lives. Now, I've never had any problems with Jacqueline almost dying, but it seems like she should be almost as vulnerable as Marie to horror damage. There shouldn't be much of a big difference, so I did upgrade Fearlesses on her as well. I also upgraded one of my Clairvoyances because I really haven't been upgrading my clue finding power very much. And I replaced one of my Delve 2 Deeps with a recharge level 4. Next scenario, I'll probably be getting my second recharge, and all of the delving is going to be reliant on Marie from that point onward. And eventually Marie too will be cutting her delves. She'll be doing it for Blood Eclipse though, a spell that deals damage to her in exchange for dealing much more damage to enemies, and that damage to her can be used to kill Arcane Initiate and David Renfield. But that's all for the future. The decks as it stands are what you see here. So getting into it, the Return to has no lingering rules, otherwise I'd still have the card out, but it does replace Agendas 1 and adds an Agenda 0. So now there's an Agenda 0A where there's smoke. As the train to Dunwich comes to a jarring stop, you look out the window behind you and see an immense tear in the sky, like a rip in a piece of cloth. From this tear, a winged beast emerges, it lets out a painful screech and descends upon the train. So now, since this scenario can just kill you, it gives you a 2-turn window at the start, I'm guessing, to set up in case you have bad luck with your opening draws, which I really appreciate. I wasn't expecting this, but it seems like a good change. Act 1A, Run. The train is stopped on a bridge high above the Miskatonic River. You might be able to survive the fall, but you don't like your chances. Your best bet is to make your way to the engine car as fast as you can and get the train running again. We immediately advance once we get to the engine car. There's only 2 acts, but there are 6 agendas. So let's shuffle all of our decks, add our draw buttons, and get into the mulligans. On Marie's end, we've got a weakness, so we're going to toss that. I'm going to be tossing Fearless every single time. Calling in Favors is good with a small ally, but not with a big one, and I can't really get much use out of an ally with only a 2 Doom Clock. So I think I toss Calling in Favors here, I keep my Emergency Cash and my Kirby, and draw 3 new cards. This is just a really good hand. Turn 1, Milan, Investigate, Lexicon. Turn 2, Emergency Cash, Jeremiah, Kirby, Investigate. Like, provided I hit my skill checks. Speaking of skill checks, I should probably talk about where we're at. We're in the baggage car at the back of the train. 3 Shroud, 3 Clues. Baggage car is connected to the locations to the left and right of it. Obviously, since we can't have it in a straight line on Tabletop Sim, it just means in this line that we have. And baggage car cannot be investigated. To investigate baggage car, we just choose and discard a card from your hand, discover 1 clue. Huh, that makes Milan a lot worse here. I don't want to discard any of these cards. That's awkward. I should remember to shuffle this back in this time, though. Over here for Jacqueline. I wonder if I'm supposed to hold cards that I'm willing to discard because of baggage car. The Emergency Cash is upgraded, so that's good. It means I have a random card to discard. But yeah, I think I'm just holding Arbiter of Fates and tossing the rest of this. No, I obviously hold Uncage the Soul, but I'll draw 3 new ones after that. 4 new ones because of Dark Future. Recharge Shriveling Water Protection. That's pretty good. I like these opening hands a lot, but since I can't enter the next car unless I've got all the clues in this one, and I have to discard 3 cards to get these clues, these hands aren't as good as I would like them to be. I'm going to go first on Marie and play this Emergency Cash to see if I can do something else. I'm going to discard this Promise of Power to get one of these clues. And I'm going to play Jeremiah Kirby for 4 resources, declaring even, to just see if I can get something better, and hit almost exclusively odd cards. Rough. Jeremiah Kirby is not at his best in a 50-50 split deck. But still, a 4-cost ally with 1 book, 2/1 soak, and that draws 1 card as a battle cry is plenty good. For Jacqueline, yeah, I think I'm drawing a card during my turn. I can toss the recharge maybe, but that seems like I spent 5 experience on this. I don't want to toss the recharge. I'm going to draw a card as my first action, see if I get something I can discard. I'd rather not discard that. I'm going to play Arbiter of Fates next, and then Uncage the Soul, Shriveling after that. That's the end of the round for us, though. So upkeep phase, hopefully hit some bad cards to discard. Okay, yeah, I can discard David, Renfield, and Milan pretty easily and then move on. I've solved the problem. So, top of the round, 1 of 3 Doom and Evil cards. We hit Resurgent Evils, and that is the easiest ward protection target in the world. It might not be as bad as Ancient Evils, but I mean, like, I can't imagine anything that's better than warding 2 cards, which is what Resurgent Evils is essentially offering, man. And we get Helpless Passenger. He has Surge, so let's figure out what our other card is, since it's going to be more immediately relevant. We're testing 3. If we fail, we take 2 damage and can't leave this round. I'm going to cheat twice, because leaving this round is important, and I don't really have anything immediately important to me. Do I want to cheat twice? I'm up a lot. If I get an auto fail, I'm basically guaranteed to fail because of the other 2 tokens, so I think I'm just cheating once. 0 is good enough. Get him out of here. I don't know if I actually covered what Claws of Steam did. It deals 2 damage if you fail and you can't move, and also it goes to your assets first if possible, so if, say, it was on Marie, it would kill Jeremiah Kirby, guaranteed. The Helpless Passenger would spawn behind us if there was a behind us, but since there isn't, he spawns with us. When he dies, we're going to take 1 horror. No matter where we are on the map, everyone takes 1 horror when this guy dies. And as a parlay action, we can take control of him to prevent him from dying by keeping him with us. So, back to our rounds. Marie's going to spend her first 2 actions discarding David Renfield and Christopher Milan to take these last 2 clues. And then she's going to spend her last action going to the next train card. 3 Shroud, 4 clues. After you enter, you must either discard cards in your hand with at least 2 book icons or take 2 horror. Well, I could discard Occult Lexicon and Milan, but I think I'll be taking 2 horror instead. I might deny existence that. I don't think I need to. I think if I die from horror, I'll get hit for 2 horror again at some points. I'll deny existence that. I don't see a reason not to. So instead of taking the 2 horror, I'll heal 2 horror. And that will be Marie's turn. Jacqueline spends her first action parlaying this guy. Next action is definitely moving up. And unfortunately, I don't have that much I can do before I run out of money. I've really just got Read the Signs, and then I'm bankrupt, but I don't have anything else to do with my money, so I may as well Read the Signs. That's me testing at 8 to 3, and I'll go ahead and cheat. I cancel my Elder Sign, take the -5, pass exactly, and draw a card, as well as getting 2 resources. Or 2 clues, rather. The card I drew was Prescient, which is useful, I guess now, because of Ward of Protection and Read the Signs, yeah. I just need something to shrivel so that I can actually play the Prescient. Anyway, that's it for our round. No enemies, upkeep phase, Delve Too Deep is needed eventually, Guts is good. 2 of 2 Doom, advance the agenda. Oh. The Conductor, Beast from Beyond the Gates. It's a 3/4/3 monster. Leftmost location, so with us, it's Hunter Massive. So it's going to be here. Forced, when the Conductor is defeated, attach it to the current agenda. After you advance the attacked agenda, draw the Conductor. Oh, he's going to keep coming back. Oh, no. And if his location, whenever be moved, he doesn't die, he just moves to the next one. I don't like this enemy at all. Hunter Massive that's spawning behind us. Anyway, new agenda, Agenda 1A, A Terror Reality version 2. The force of the gate grows with the presence of the winged beast. Several of the rearmost train cars are pulled backward, and there's a dreadful metallic crunch as they are detached. The train cars topple upward and into the rift in the sky. Nearby passengers are panicking, others are cowering in their seats, and one elderly man has fainted in fear. 2 Doom Threshold. And every time the agendas advance, we're going to lose the rearmost train car, for in it, we just fucking die. So, the Conductor makes things complicated, because we can't really move back to deal with him, but at the same time, letting him come to us feels genuinely terrible. Anyway, we still haven't gotten to the point of the game where we get to think about the Conductor. We have to draw our evil cards. This goes in my threat area. I can choose to deal 2 damage to Jack and get rid of it. Otherwise, I'm testing Brain 3, and if I fail, I take 1 horror. Also, there is now a massive fuck-off enemy with us. This spawns exhausted in the next train car. So it's not with us, that's good news. The bad news is we're going to be with it real soon. It's a 4/5/3, hits for 2/2, and otherwise has no text beyond how it's spawning. I'm going to go first as Marie. So the really gross thing here is that Marie can't test this that well. Unless I play Milan, in which case she gets caught by this thing. God, this having Hunter is such a pain in the ass since it spawns behind us. This unironically seems like one of the most difficult to deal with enemies in the entire game. I've never wished I could evade something more in my life. Killing it next turn isn't even good, because if we do kill it next turn, it's just going to respawn immediately. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 checks at only +2 with Marie. I'm going to cheat for both of them. -2 star and -3. All of those are passes. We'll accept the -3, so I'll take 1 clue. Use Jacqueline's ability for the next one. Star again, +1 and -2. Doom wouldn't advance naturally, so there's no advantage to doing anything with my Doom on that star, but I will take both clues and move up to the next train car. After you review it, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a grappling horror and draw it. Awesome. Things are rapidly spiraling out of control. So she gets this enemy, as well as this one, since it isn't massive. While you're engaged with grappling horror, you cannot move. It's a 3/3/2 that hits for 1/1. Anyway, that's her turn, so now she has to test 4 head. She fails and takes 1 horror. Let's not forget to give her clues, though. And then move forward with Jacqueline. I think I shrivel over for the smaller enemy. God, I'm so tempted to shrivel over twice. The only thing that gets me on either shriveling, right, is auto-fail. Yeah, I'm swinging at 8 to 4. There's no -5s or curses in the bag. I'm going to shrivel over twice. On the first one, I'm going to get Prescient to try to get a skill back. -2. I forgot to declare my attack target. It was the grappling horror, though, because it's the one that's actually attacking this round. And the next shriveling at the actual victory point enemy, 0. So this thing has taken 3 damage. And let's not forget to actually use... Oh, damn it. I forgot how Prescient works. I think of it as if you pass the test, not the skill check thing. So let's imagine I didn't play Prescient because I completely forgot how the card works. As evidenced by the fact that I didn't declare even odd or simple. Anyways, this thing is exhausted. It just flipped to this orientation because it locks through the threat area. So it does not attack. Upkeep phase, it's going to ready. And we draw our cards. Deep Knowledge is great. Emergency Cache level 2 is great. 1 of 2 Doom. I forgot in the enemy phase, the Conductor is going to chase us. And evil cards. Every option on a Baleful Welcome is terrible right now. We have to investigate to move forward, don't we? Oh no, there's no clues here. So I can declare investigate and evade. And then we can move, play, and fight. Yeah, no investigating, no evading. I have clues, so I test book X, where X is 2. For each point I fail by, I either take 1 horror or drop 1 clue. Do I cheat on that? I think I cheat once on that and once on my shriveling. That seems reasonable. So I'm going to tap Arbiter of Fates. I'm going to pull 3 tokens at 3 to 2. And yeah, that's an easy pass. Get them out of here. Our turns, I'm going to... Do I want to spend an action engaging just to be safe? No, I don't. I'm shriveling over her head because I'm using my ability. I'm using Prescient. I'm going to declare... So I'm using shriveling. I don't want a symbol. I'm going to declare even then, because 0s, -2s, and -4s are all passes. Unfortunately, we're taking a -1, and we're not getting anything back from our discard pile. But we are killing the emergent monstrosity. Let's remember to spend our actions and shriveling charges. It's kind of important. Next action, I move into the next train car. We're just booking it away from the Conductor. We have to test 1 foot, and if you fail, you have to test 1 foot again. And anyone who fails both is defeated? Fucking excuse me? I have more than 1 foot on both characters and the ability to cheat twice after the upkeep phase. So I'm going to stay here, despite hating everything about every one of those words. I don't know if I should investigate at 3 to 1 or play an emergency cache. It's probably investigate at 3 to 1, right? Yeah, and that gets a clip. Because we need to get out of this location as fast as possible. Marie spends her first action moving up to us. I don't need Milan in play for this location. And I want to make sure we're out on time, even with bad draws from the encounter deck and an auto-fail and an investigate check. So I'm just going to investigate twice. Yeah, that's -1, -1. We take 2 clues. And that's it for our round. So, Hunter phase, the conductor continues to chase us. Upkeep phase, we get a Fearless over there, and another Prescient on Jacqueline. Hopefully this one goes better. 2 of 2 Doom, Agenda advances. The rearmost car of the train detaches. It is pulled backwards. To your horror, it rises off the tracks and is consumed by the gate above you. We remove the leftmost location. Everyone there is defeated. Each enemy and asset at the location is discarded. Discard all clues controlled by the investigators. That card, that last line, just seems so mean and pointless. Just, what's that? You're running, I've got a plan? You don't have a plan. You're on a train being pulled in the sky. There's no planning for that. It just makes you feel bad about running any card reliant on the number of clues you have. It doesn't seem like it does anything else. Anyways, Agenda 2A, the mall widens. The tear grows larger and you can feel the rearmost car of the train shaking as it is pulled backwards. The situation threatens to erupt into chaos as more passengers realize the danger they are in. Some passengers are looking for a place to hide, others are running about the compartments in terror. And evil cards. Mysterious chanting, we need to go find a cultist. Wizard of the Order dies just the same, so I'm going to pull him while we're in control and put him in the next car. Evil card for Jacqueline is... Does that do anything right now? It hits me for 1 horror by Prescient. And that's it. Yeah, I take 1 horror. I can live with that. I'd like to draw a Fearless on Jacqueline relatively soon. Once you get to about 5 horror left, it starts feeling sketchy on a Mystic, because Tripling can just kill you. Especially when it backfires for fucking 2. Anyway, that was a relatively soft Mythos phase. I'm gonna go first on Jacqueline. Oh, right. At the end of the round, test 1 foot to see if you just die. Also, at the end of Marie's turn, test 3 head to see if you just take a horror, which she does. So, testing 1 foot. I'm not going to cheat on the first one. I'll cheat on the second one. Okay, she's fine on the first one. Jacqueline is basically guaranteed to fail the first one, though. Alright, it would have passed. But I do get to cancel my star and draw a card, so that's neat. Okay. Since I have the ability to cheat still active, I'm going to go first on Jacqueline. I'm going to cheat and investigate at 3-1. Skull is a -2, I believe. It is -2. I get the last clue. I move to the next location, which engages this Wizard of the Order who should have 1 Doom on him, but I won't be bothering to do that because I'm going to shrivel him away. I'm not shriveling him anywhere. I guess I will put the Doom on him then, and put him in my threat area. Let's also flip the train car we're in. It's the partner car. Victory 1, 3 Shroud, 2 clues. Can't be investigated. Spend 3 resources to discover a clue. I've got that sort of money. I move twice and spend 6 resources on Marie to get both clues. Actually, I don't do that. I do move here, obviously. But instead, I spend 2 resources to play Occult Lexicon, getting a Bloodright and shuffling the other 2 into my deck. And then I'm going to play a Bloodright, draw 2 cards. One of them's my weakness. That is not good to see. Regardless, though, I am going to discard this Calling in Favors. And I'm never getting to play Milan. It's become painfully apparent. To deal 2 guaranteed damage for 2 resources to the Wizard of the Order. At the end of my turn, I take 1 horror after I fail this test. Hey, I don't fail the test this time. And I take 1 direct horror regardless because of my other weakness. That can rack up pretty fast. But that's our turns. Hunter phase, the conductor chases us, and upkeep phase. Did I shuffle my deck? I did. Top of the round, 1 of 3 Doom, evil cards. For Jacqueline's evil card, yeah. I'm not sure I can actually take 2 encounter cards here. Like, I feel there's a decent chance that ends up being equivalent to Ancient Evils or worse. We either lose the actions and can't escape the conductor, or we draw cultists in front of us that we can't deal with because we lose actions or get grappling horrors, or... It just feels really likely to me that Resurgent Evils this time is going to be an Ancient Evil, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to take the Doom this time. Because I feel like we're really ahead of the clock. There's a lot of agendas left. And also, I think we're actually able to kill the conductor now. Because when we kill him, he'll spawn at the back, he'll start moving towards us, and we'll have like 3 turns to freely do things, because he's not going to spawn next to us anymore. I think we're okay. On Jacqueline's turn, I'm going to go first. I'm going to use Arbiter of Fates to cheat on a recharge. I reveal 3 tokens. I don't want a symbol. I have to reveal both that aren't auto-fail, but neither of those are symbols, so that's fine. It means that now we get to add 4 new charges to our shriveling. Next, I'm going to cheat again and shrivel over at Grappling Horror. It's only got 3 attack. That's always great to see. I take the -1, and I kill it. I also get to draw a card. And I use my last action to spend 3 resources. Let's make sure we use our shriveling charge to get one of the clues. On Marie, I'm definitely spending 3 resources to get the other clue. And I think I'm leaving and letting Jacqueline fight this enemy on her own. Do I play Arcane Initiate now, since the Doom's advancing anyway? It means I get stuck here, and I get hit. I'm only getting hit for 1/1, essentially. Taking 2 health damage is pretty spooky. But I've got a Kirby in play. I think it's worth getting Arcane Initiate into play and staying here to help Jacqueline. And we use her immediately to search the top 3 for a spell. Please. Which... oh, hey, Mystifying Song counts. I could actually use Mystifying Song as well. I'm not sure I need to, though. Like, we're so far ahead of the Doom curve. But anyways, that's it. Enemy phase, the Conductor catches us. He swings at 2-1 at both of us. We put 1 damage on Kirby, 1-1 on... actually, 1 horror on Arcane Initiate, so only 1 damage gets through to Marie. We're not still in the death car, but we do have to test 4 to 3. I will commit Guts to that to try to avoid taking the horror. Curse into -3. Well, sometimes you get got. Take a horror. And Chronophobia also deals a horror. We still haven't found a spell I can test to use Fearless on Marie, which is really unfortunate. Anyways, enemy phase is done. Let's take our upkeep phase. Oh wait, I should probably take the hit on Jacqueline and not just blatantly cheat. That's always a good decision. Anyways, upkeep phase. Azure Flame, it's not the one I wanted, but it will do. Unfortunately, I can't play it now because, well, there's a monster at our location that's going to hit me if I try. Doom can advance. I could stop it. I just don't know if I should bother stopping it. Because if I do, I can't play the Azure Flame, I can't play the Fearless, and I feel like I'm in more danger. I have no economy in this hand. Yeah, I'm going to let the Doom advance. I don't actually mind that. So let's make sure we clear off our Doom on our Arcane Initiate. And then read this card. The next train car is ripped backwards with violent force. A middle-aged man hangs from his fingertips as the car flies unhindered toward the rift. In moments, the car is consumed whole, and the man lets go rather than be pulled into the void. He starts to fall, but is caught by the rift's force and pulled inside it anyway. Lose all clues, remove the leftmost car. Did I not remove the leftmost card the first time I read this? I did not, because there should be 2 cards removed at this point. Which makes it feel like I have a little bit less room to wiggle with than I thought I did with the Conductor. But we're going to be killing him on a 0 of 4 Doom, so we are completely fine. For some reason I had in my head that all of these were 2 Doom thresholds, and that is not the case at all. So, our turn. No, it's not. Let's draw evil cards. Also, before I read this, let's read the new agenda. Agenda 3A, rolling backwards. The pull of the rift in the sky seems to go stronger, and the entire train begins to roll backwards along the tracks. The rearmost cars of the train begin to rattle the force of the rift, threatening to detach them. You must get out of these cars as fast as you can for Doom threshold. So, helpless passenger. He surges into broken rails. Do I have a warded protection? Gross. Okay, everyone lose 1 action. Does anyone have 4 damage? No. Good. And on Jacqueline, Mysterious Chanting actually isn't that bad. Let's grab an Acolyte. Actually, why would I grab an Acolyte out of the deck? I'll grab the Wizard of the Order out of the discard pile. So the plan is for Jacqueline to just kill the shit out of the enemy, I think. Arbiter of Fates, Shriveling. Twice. That seems like the plan. I take the -1 to deal 3 without suffering and damage, and I do it again. I have to pull Curse -3, so we're at -5. -9. At least we get rid of the curse. I'm going to wind the game back. I can't remember if I started this with 3 or 2 shrivelings. Okay, I started with 3. That's good to know. So anyway, like I said, shrivel twice. This guy takes 3 damage. Now, I had hoped to kill him with Jacqueline so that Marie could leave and use her occult lexicon to kill it, but seeing as that's not really an option, I guess I bloodwrite this and play an Azure Flame. I can't afford the Azure Flame. I can. I bloodwrite as my first action. I draw 2 cards. I toss this Jeremiah Kirby that I will never be able to play, and this other Azure Flame. I gain 1 resource with the first discard, and then spend 1 resource with the second one to deal 1 damage, because this thing only has 1 health left, and now he's attached to the agenda and dead. As my next action, I'm going to play an Azure Flame. It's not the level 5 shriveling that I wanted, but it is something. Anyway, I'm going to take 1 direct horror at the end of the round for my weakness. I'm going to test brain and pass for the other one. That's the end of our round. This man should have a doom on him. Upkeep phase. Bare Insanity is here to make everything progressively scarier. Nothing really changing with Jacqueline. 1 of 4 doom, 2 of 4 actually. Let's go ahead and give him the doom now so I don't forget about it. Idle Hands is in my threat area. During my turn, I can take 2 damage to get rid of it, or at the end of my turn, I can take 1 horror. Let's just do that now. We're taking 2 damage, because I will die to that horror damage. I'm kind of racking it up over here. For Jacqueline's card, cool, broken rails again. Lose an action. Marie really can't defend herself right now. She has 1 charge of Fearless and a Promise of Power with her Azure Flame. She might be able to defend herself. The point is, she has to spend her turn discarding Chronophobia, which means she might be getting left behind by Jacqueline, because Jacqueline needs to deal with this Wizard of the Order. As Jacqueline and I move twice, and I shrivel the Wizard of the Order. I'm going to cheat. I'm trying to figure out whether or not I think it's ever possible to fail if I hit auto-fail with double cheat, and I don't think it is. I take the -3, and I stick with the -3. -1's better, it doesn't matter. The guy is dead. And my last charge of shriveling was used in that attack. Alright, so we just need to avoid any bad enemies spawning with Marie this turn. St. Hubert Ski would be nice if I had time and money to play it. It looks like I have to discard something over here. Clairvoyance, probably. The Azure Flame, definitely. What am I even thinking about? 2 of 4 doom, evil cards. There is another helpless passenger here. And an infinite doorway. They're probably very confused by it. For Jacqueline, I can choose 2 things. There are no enemies. I choose Fight, Evade. Marie goes first. She spends 2 actions helping these helpless passengers. And then she moves to the next location. She's going to draw a card, or discard a card rather. It's David Renfield. I have no copies of it in my hand or play area, so I don't do anything else. Okay. It felt a little bit sketchy for a while there, but we're back around to being really far ahead. I spend 3 resources playing Shriveling. I gain 3 resources and draw a card playing an Emergency Cache. I'm self-destructive now. That's actually kind of a problem, but nothing I can do about it. Let's maybe look at our location and see what it does. That's usually a good thing to do. 4 Shroud, 1 Clue in the sleeping car. Action, gain 3 resources. Remember that you stole someone's luggage. Last action, I will play Clairvoyance over the old Shriveling. No enemies, upkeep phase. Dark Future, I'm no longer allowed to use my ability. 3 of 4 Doom and evil cards. Wait, let's test our 1 head. We fail, I kill the Arcane Initiate. Should I? Let's imagine that I had played the game well and used the Arcane Initiate before the skill test. I really can't afford to take Horror, so I guess I'm taking Shriveling over Ward of Protection. I guess I take Ward of Protection. They're both bad choices, though. Anyway, Arcane Initiate's dead. I've increased the Doom, Evil count, so that's our evil cards now. The Acolyte doesn't matter at all. I'm going to spawn him at the back of the train. Need for Knowledge, I'm testing Book 2. If I fail, I can drop my clues. or take damage. I can't cheat on this, but can I get book from over here? I get promise of power. I'm gonna take promise of power from Marie and commit both enraptures to this to test at 9-2, which seems like overkill, but the alternative is testing at 5-2, which isn't enough, and I don't have anything for just book. So curse into -1, so -3, easy pass. I get 2 charges on my spells. I'm putting them both on shriveling. Clairvoyance and Marie should be more than enough to handle the rest of the enemies. It is our turn. I drew Dark Future during my turn, didn't I? So I should have tested this at the end of the round, or at the end of my turn rather, and I forgot to. Came up with an emergency cache, but it stays there, nothing changes. We need to get this clue. It's 4 Shroud. So we can't cheat, that's actually kind of obnoxious. I'm going to use Fearless and Prescient to investigate using Clairvoyance as Jacqueline, which gives me a +3 to my base of 5 for 8-4. -1 gets me the clue. I think that also deals a damage to me. Nope, it stops at 0. And now that I've done this, I suddenly remember that I don't want to go to the next car while I can't cheat. So I'm going to play an emergency cache to draw a card, get 3 resources. I'm going to play this Arcane Initiate because the Doom won't matter. I'm going to use its ability and search my top 3. I'll take Rite of Seeking and shuffle my deck. Over here on Marie, I'm going to play an Arcane Initiate over here as well and immediately use their effect. Delve Too Deep, unfortunately, not a spell. What was my first action? I don't think there was one. I think I flipped this to play Arcane Initiate and then got distracted by Fearless. I play St. Hubert's Key, I guess. That will help me out a lot with these brain checks I keep having to make, or head checks rather. I'm going to play Emergency Cache to draw a card and gain 3 resources. I don't remember what the check is when I go to Engine Car and progress the act. I just remember that it can kill you, which is a terrifying set of information to have. Upkeep phase, there are no enemies in play. Guts is nice. The other Delve Too Deep is great. We needed those. 4/4 Doom, the Conductor spawns in the last car, which is going to be this one. This guy dies. His car gets ripped out. So, Agenda 3B. I've already done the resolution for it because I just know what it is. But let's still read the flavor text for Agenda 2B, even though I've already done all the text on the back of it. 2 of the train cars closest to the gates are severed from the rest of the train by a sheet of impossibly hot steam, which slices through metal like a knife through butter. The cars are sucked upwards and fly into the gate. Something about the train lets out a terrible screech, though to your ears it's like the shrill sound of a broken steam pipe. Agenda 4A, 3 Doom Threshold, drawn in. The gate crackles with power as its strength increases. Dirt and rock from the edge of the bridge behind you are torn from the ground, and trees are uprooted, pulled in by the gate. One younger passenger smashes the window of your car and shouts, "We gotta get out of here!" He leaps out of the window, but before he lands in the river below, he is smashed in the talons of a flying creature and carried out of sight. A trail of steam is left in the creature's wake. With 2 agendas left, I feel pretty safe. At this point, I basically just hung out for a round to make sure we were good. Unfortunately, Jacqueline still isn't able to cheat. I'd feel better if I knew exactly what the risk was. I think I send Marie because she can commit 3 question marks to it, and I'm pretty sure it's not a fist check. So I'm going to go first as Marie and move to the next car. It's the engine car. It's 3 shroud, 4 clues. After you reveal engine car, put the set-aside engineer into play at the engineer car, or the engine car rather. It's got victory 1. This is apparently one of the new ones, which is why we're even interacting with the engineer. If the engineer is ready, he has the action parlay. Test head or book 4. If you succeed, take control of him. You already control him. Discover 1 clue from your location instead. Any investigator at engineer's location may trigger this ability. And he also has forced when he would be discarded. Instead, heal all damage and horror from it, lose control of it, and exhaust it. And I believe getting here immediately progresses the act. The investigator entering the engine car reads the following out loud. A tender car filled with coal blocks your way to the engine car. Swallowing your fear, you climb out the nearby window and clamber onto the roof of the train, making your way across the tender car. The steady backward motion of the train makes it difficult for you to keep your footing. As you get close, a winged creature swoops down from above, its body composed of piping hot steam. I can decide to test one of the following. I can either test 3 foot or 3 fist, and I'm going to be talking about the 3 foot one because that's the one I can actually do. You attempt to dodge the creature. If you fail, you leap too far and barely grip the side of the train, hanging on for dear life. If you manage to pull yourself up, the experience is terrifying. You suffer 1 mental trauma. I would like to avoid that, so I'll be committing Word of Protection as well as Astounding Revelation. Astounding Revelation? Mystifying Song. The test at 6 to 3. -1, we're good. Act 2A, get the engine running. You managed to make it to the engine cab, but now you have to get the engine started again so you can outrun the pulling force of the gate. Objective, if there are no clues in the engine car, immediately advance. I delved too deep. Yeah, that seems like a pretty easy decision to me. I have more violent commands. Jacqueline has test 3 head. Oh, that one would be obnoxious if I failed it. I commit guts, so I'm testing at 7 to 3. I draw a card, it gets out of here. Delve Too Deep is going to go in the victory display, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's do the other Delve Too Deep next. Oh, hey, nice. I have an exhausted enemy with me now. It turns out there were more victory points left in the deck that we needed to find. Anyway, Jacqueline's card is an Acolyte. Anyway, it's going behind us, so it basically doesn't exist. It's just Ancient Evils, unfortunately. Oh wait, this is exhausted. It doesn't engage anyone yet. I probably could have realized that on the previous turn when Jacqueline was shooting over Marie at this and avoided that situation entirely, huh? Anyway, first action for Jacqueline, now that it's actually her turn. She's going to move in. I don't think I need to get rid of self-destructive. I think I can just take 2 damage here and I'm fine. I have 3 left. Nothing's going to kill me. Yeah, I'm just going to shrivel twice. I can't cheat, so I'm just shriveling at 8 to 4. -2 is a hit. Skull is actually spooky as hell. -4 is fine. That's actually still a hit. But it does mean I take 2 horror from my shriveling, which I will put on myself. And also, because I dealt damage twice, I take damage twice. Thanks, self-destructive. Oh, I probably should have committed Fearless to one of those tests, huh? Well, live and learn. Anyway, that's it for us. Enemy phase, Hunter moves. This man should go in the victory display. I did just spend my turn killing him after all. Upkeep phase. Let's test 3-headed twice and see how much horror we take. 0. Was there a guts over here? No, there's not. But there is a Fearless, and I'll give that to the second test. The test at +4. Cool. Fearless got played eventually. No horror was taken here. And I believe it's time for 1 of 3 Doom evil cards. Actually, 2 of 3 because there's an Acolyte here. There's an infinite doorway, but we will never be leaving this location, so it won't matter very much. Resurgent Evils. I will go ahead and progress the agenda. This Acolyte dies, this train card dies. Next agenda. The 2 rearmost cars begin to melt as they are filled with superheated steam. The metal warps and the passengers inside scream in agony. The cars are ripped from the train tracks along with rail slats and chunks of the bridge behind you. Same text that all of them have. We shouldn't have any clues, not that it matters because you don't use them for anything. That text is only there to make you feel bad for running a Got It plan. Did I never hit upkeep on Jacqueline? I must not have. Anyways, that was Jacqueline's Resurgent Evils. Yes, it was. Marie got Infinite Doorway. There we go. So we can end the game with this round pretty easily. So yeah, I'm just going to go with Jacqueline now and investigate twice. I think I forgot to check Jacqueline's weakness last turn. It really doesn't matter. I'm just wasting everyone's time right now. And I failed anyway. I'm investigating at 3 to 5, or 5 to 3 rather, with Clairvoyance. Yeah, I'm doing that. -3 is a miss. -1 gets 2 clues. That should easily be enough to finish the scenario this round. On the off chance it's not, I spend my last action playing Rite of Seeking over this Clairvoyance. But Marie is going to investigate at 6 to 3 twice, 3 times. I mean, it's all that matters anymore. -1 is 1 clue, +1 is another. That's both clues, and that's the scenario done. Last act advances. The engine roars to life and kicks into motion. You shovel coal into the engine's firebox and are relieved to see that the train is moving forward along the tracks once again. R1. We have 2 victory locations on this map, which, thanks to Delos, gets us up to a grand total of 6 experience. The only mechanical effects of this resolution are that we gained Victory X, which is in this case, as I said, 6. Yeah, even though I didn't really upgrade my clue finding ability at all, we still finished with 3 Doomed Despair in a deck that had a whole lot of Ancient Evils in it. So I feel good about the decisions I made. I feel like the only thing I'm at risk of dying to is just the amount of horror I deal to myself combined with Dunwich's horror. But yeah, that scenario went really well. The Conductor is a really cool addition. This vastly changes the scenario. I really, really like the Conductor as an enemy. And I also really like the Agenda 0 that it's the other side of. I think this is a massive improvement to the scenario. And generally speaking, anytime I see anything that makes me wish I were dodging, I'm always really, really happy to see it. Evasion just generally doesn't feel very good. It's almost always a thing that the character does in addition to their core role that feels kind of good sometimes. You never bring someone to evade. So anytime there's incentive to invade, anything that actually makes me consider, like, should I have brought someone who can evade enemies as a real meaningful decision on why they came to the team, I always like that. I like seeing evade incentivized, and big recurring monsters are a really effective way to do that. And this is actually one of the few monsters that's going to be recurring in a way that's dangerous. If it spawns on top of you every time, it doesn't matter. But if it's a hunter that's spawning far away from you when it comes back every time, that's a serious problem. Anyways, I've really liked the Essex County Express, and that's a trend that will continue in Blood on the Altar. By my memory, this is one of the best scenarios in the set, and I'm really looking forward to playing it next time. If you liked the video, then like, comment, subscribe, and all of that noise. I'll see you in the next one.